on the signs.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. This meeting will be recorded to aid in preparation of the minutes. Okay, just a brief announcement. I've had a lousy day, folks, so let's keep the specifics and get her done. All right. Visitors, Susan.
The visitors have said they do not wish to speak. Mr. Johnson is not speaking today, so, and these guys will be up. Bob.
Right.
But we need to do the minutes.
Oh, the minutes. Yes, let's do the minutes. Forgot about it, sorry. Minutes for August 3rd and August the 8th.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for August the 3rd and August the 8th collectively.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Thank you. Now we can move to Randy.
Okay, you all have my report, I take it. Okay. Let's touch on Sunshine Hills water system first. As of Friday, last Friday on September 2nd, I met with Mike Hess from DEP. He was responsible for this project in that he was the responsible engineer for Perry County. Since then, Mike has then been promoted, and he's now down in the central office in Harrisburg. So he's trying to wrap up his duties back at the South Central Regional Office. So he saw fit to meet with me. What we did was we went over the flow rate data logger information that was recorded from August 1st through August 24th. Okay. And he was in agreement that we're in compliance, there's really no issues, and we're not required to submit any more information to him at this point. That was his determination at the date of the meeting. He will make that in writing here once, I guess, once we install the flow restrictor, and also he had a question and concern about how well number 1 was going to be monitored for flow. He said, do we want to, he wants, if we have well 2 and well 1, this isn't on here, and then it was kind of complicated, so I didn't want to confuse you too much, but he wants to know whether you want to retain well 1. And I think our reasoning behind that before was we did have it. It really doesn't do us any good, but why get rid of something that's there, and it's possibly you're able to use it in a pinch.
Give us what, 5,000 gallons?
Yeah, it's really a small amount, right. But what they're saying is, well, if we're going to keep well 1, then we got to be able to either monitor individually well 1 or well 2. So he's thinking another meter is going to be installed. And I said, well, I don't think that's going to happen, because he says if you got the 1 meter coming out of the tanks, he has to know if you have one of the other ones metered, then you can do a subtraction to find out what the other one's contributing to the system. So he also expressed, well, you know, the department's going to make us do that. In addition, with having a meter be installed, he wants, then we'll have to do monthly, quarterly, annual monitoring for water quality and so forth. So that's another expense.
Yeah, how much is that going to cost us?
I didn't cost it out, but it's going to be significant. You know.
I think Ed had referred to that when he recommended getting
Ed
rid of
told us
well
about
1,
that.
and he said it was the first few were going to be thousands because the SBCs, SOPs, SOBCs, whatever.
The VOCs, SOCs, the IOCs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some other ones, but
Yeah, bacteriological testing. Yeah. So he asked me to bring that to your attention as whether you wanted to abandon well 1, and through my further correspondence with him, I said, what are you going to make us do? And usually, probably as Elmer knows, once you abandon a well, you're supposed to backfill with concrete. All he says at this point is that we got to disconnect it physically. So, and the other thing is we'd want to probably disconnect it electrically too, so the pump wouldn't come on, we're spewing water somewhere or pumping against a closed valve. But anyway, so that's what I bring before you tonight, to know what your take is or disposition is on how you want to proceed. He's looking for some type of direction as whether we retain well number 1 and put in the meter on either well 1 or well 2, and then if you do that, then you're going to have to do the sampling as well. So I said, well, I'd bring it before the authority at tonight's meeting and try to get some type of determination. And that also enters into the calculation as far as him saying, okay, he's going to issue a formal letter, okay, saying this is, we've complied, and so he says he's not going to issue anything formally until we decide what we're going to do with well 1, if that makes sense.
How,
5,000 gallons, that isn't that much. That's the problem.
I was thinking if we didn't have to, if we could disconnect it and in a pinch,
Yeah.
throw it back together real quick. Can we do something like that? I mean,
I think I mean, I can't speak for DEP, but I think if you disconnected it physically and electrically, we could probably, put in a request that we connect that if well 2, would go down and you needed water in an emergency condition, and well 1
I wasn't
equipment was
thinking
still.
about telling them about anything.
Wow, but anyway.
We'll tell them we disconnect it and leave it at that.
Yeah, well, that would maybe be problematic in the long run if they found out. But anyway,
Sam, have we ever used that well in a pinch at all?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either.
so,
I thought we had already discussed this a year or so ago, and we already made the determination that we were going to take that well offline.
there was that discussion. I don't think,
No, I agree with Sam. I think if I would research the minutes, you'll find that decision had been made
Okay.
to abandon it.
I remember the discussion, but I don't remember the decision.
I think we
Yeah.
made a motion and
You may
I think
have.
we did too. I think you're right.
okay.
Susan, can you find that and maybe bring it up with the JOEC? That way we'll know for sure that it's, unless you want to do it right now.
I was going to say, rather than go to that I mean, that's such a lot of work. Just decide now if you want to abandon, make another motion.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion we abandon the well. Well number 1.
Any discussion? Or a second, sorry.
I will second it again.
Thank you, Sam. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of abandoning well 1, speak now or forever hold your peace. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, well, I'll put that to Mr. Hess's attention tomorrow, that you will abandon well number 1. Okay. Any other questions in that? So I guess we're making progress. It's just a matter of how, the next item on that would be installing the flow restrictor and making that disconnection physically from the piping and electrically, from the
Whatever it takes.
power source. So, okay. Move on to Michael Ward.
Question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question of the engineer?
Sure.
Randy, in your report here, it indicates that DEP has accepted the flow rate data and does not require any additional flow rate information to be submitted.
Right.
Will the data logger continue to be used to record flow rate data?
It can be.
Will it?
I would think that might be a prudent idea to continue with that, just so you know what it is? You still have the totalized flows. You're reading the totalizer every day, right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
because you have to
But
for
the
your
data
just-
logger,
yeah.
Data logger requires so much, it requires a lot of power, and that affects the number of times we have to get down that hole and change that battery.
Well, I thought I saw where you guys put in the temporary power out to the
Yeah,
pit.
we did, but we still have to go in once a week and change it. I'm
Oh.
just curious to know if the data for the flow rate information is no longer required, does that change the time to, the frequency with which we have to enter that space and change the battery?
Yeah, he told me that it's no longer required, but he said that the authority may still want to keep that up just for their own purposes if they feel the need to do so. You know, but we will need to have a totalized flow.
That's correct.
And if I think we can change, I'd have to check with Control Systems 21. Again, to the data logger, we could probably.
Well,
but-
I guess
yeah.
our
You don't have any
our question or concern is the battery and the
Right.
charger will be required to allow the meter, the display to work. The question is, how much draw will there be if the data logger isn't being used at its current rate, which impacts, you know, the time we have to,
Yeah.
the number of times in a month that we have to go in and change that thing.
Well, it's not the data logger that requires the power because it's its own battery. It's I guess the head off the meter that requires the power.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
question. If you could, if that impacts that at all, could you let us know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll check into it.
Because
But-
come February, when there's 3 feet of snow out there,
Right.
I'll be thinking of it.
Well, the point, you're still going to need to take the meter reading, and you're still going to have to pop the lid on the pit where
That's
the meter,
correct.
but you won't have to go down in the subsurface chamber.
Because you wouldn't spec out a camera, so we just look at the monitor and read
Yeah,
it.
couldn't you get a one of those?
Little like spy cameras, huh?
Randy, you were going to ask Control System 21, I don't know if you did, about whether we could leave the battery trickle charger on that. Would that harm any of the electronics if we just left it on it? Then we wouldn't have to be switching it back and forth.
Yeah, they told me, well, unless I misunderstood and they didn't understand, I think they said there was no issues.
So just leave the trickle charger on there.
Can we get them to confirm that? Could they send a
I
letter?
mean, we don't want to mess up the electronics if we leave it on there,
Okay.
or we could just say, Randy said.
Well, I asked the question, and
Yeah, that would make it a lot easier. We just leave it on. We could just switch the batteries occasionally just to keep them with it once a month even. Instead of going down there, lifting this one over here, putting this one over here twice a week.
Even if they could just extend those cables, move the cables.
so you wanted me to ask, trickle charger remain on battery while operating?
Will it hurt any electronics?
Well, that's what, yeah,
Because currently, we're switching the charged battery back over.
right. I'll ask, but they said there shouldn't be any issues.
That'd be greatly appreciated.
But I'll call, Hack. I can't think of his first name. Sam Hackenberger. Because I called Stacy Kurtz and she didn't know, and I had to end up talking to Sam anyway. But I'll check with him again just to make sure.
Now, flow restrictor, how much is it gonna cost to put that thing on?
Well, you purchased the flow restrictor already, so it's in your possession down at the Cove
Is that the Cove plant?
wastewater treatment facility. So there's a spool piece in there that's a bolted spool piece. I think there's 4 bolts on each side. There's 8 bolts total. Somebody just has to undo the bolts. It's HDPE piping in there, so it's flexible. You should be able to just take the spool piece out and put the flow restrictor in its place and just make the bolt connections. That's what I was saying. Somebody's going to need to do that.
We don't have to have boil water notice and all that jazz. Cut the supply and.
I wouldn't. Well, just I would just.
Pressurize the system into it.
Just a section.
Yeah, it's only like about 9 inches, 10 inches. Yeah, and all we do is swab it with some chlorine. I think we'd be fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Shut off on the one side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as long as you're careful when you do it, you don't get any dirt in the line or in the flow restrictor, and you swab the flow restrictor with some chlorine, and I think you should probably be fine. Is there any disagreement with that as far as just swabbing the chlorine or the flow restrictor with some chlorine and isolating it and just being careful that you don't get dirt in the flow restrictor or in the line? It should be, I mean, it's I don't think it should be that difficult.
I don't think it'd be difficult, but I would like to run it by Keith, because if, you know, the state's knowing it was installed, they might go, then where was your notice at?
Right.
Why didn't we get the notice, if it's required?
Yeah.
I don't know that it is, but if it is, and
Yeah.
they don't get it,
I would
Let's
talk.
find out what the particulars
Keith
are.
Shannon.
we'll look at, you know, what's required.
Yeah.
Mike
If it
didn't
is,
say
or-
anything to me about that at our meeting, and I told him what we would do, and he didn't seem to have
I
any
mean, it's not
issues.
like you're depressurizing the whole line.
Right,
It's a little
Well,
segment.
you guys are gonna do some flushing too, aren't you? Somebody gonna do some flushing here?
Line flushing?
Yeah.
Water line flushing.
Water line flushing.
No, that's the,
That's-
field
that's
reps,
okay. Field reps doing it.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, maybe it could be done when that's done too, I don't know.
we postponed that for a while.
I think it was to get past this
Yeah, this period.
disinfection
Randy's
period
doing-
after the changeover and the new meter was put in.
So Sam, you're gonna, you and,
yeah,
um,
Jody.
Joe, you're gonna do that, is that right?
Yeah, whenever he calls me.
Okay, now moving on to Mr. Ward, if there's no other questions. Okay. Well, as a result of the last authority meeting, we decided to start tracking Mr. Ward's pump flow records starting August 1st. And we were going along, I was checking it weekly and so forth, and everything was fine as far as the data was available, and I could review it and evaluate it. And then as of like August 25th, I noticed there was a partial day, and then thereafter there was nothing. And I tried to get access to it through my cell phone here more recently. I'm still not able to get any data. So I can check on that a little bit. But as of August 24th was the last full day of data, August 1st to the 24th, 24 days. Again, August 25th was a partial day. But looking at the records, if I ran it from August 21st to the 24th, we had 54,825 gallons go into the system. So if you take that through 24 days, on average, that's 2,284 gallons per day. So based upon 150 gallons per EDU, and he paid for 10 EDU capacity, that's 1,500 gallons per day. So right now he's running an additional 784 gallons per day above his allotted capacity, which is about 5.23 EDUs more.
And since we don't sell a partial EDU, it's 6.
It would be 6, exactly. So, and the other thing, as I was previously telling Elmer and Jim, was that I was monitoring the precipitation data in August, and I was taking Marysville and Duncan, and being that the sites are located in between the two, and you know, we had some days with precipitation, no major rain events, but it was like anywhere from 0.1 to 0.13 to and less than that, 0.05, 0.06. So I couldn't really. There appeared to be maybe some correlation to some degree, but it wasn't to the point where I could say, yes, this was a major event. Maybe we had, you know, a half an inch of rain or something, and try to then look at the data and compare precipitation events to flow, you know, the pumping records.
So it's not groundwater infiltration?
At this point, I don't think it is. And when I talked to Mr. Ward, as I said at the last meeting, he said his water meter readings that he was pumping in, you know, for domestic purposes was about 2,500 gallons. You know, and there were some readings that were above, you know, 2,400, 2,500 gallons. And then there were some that were, you know, less than that. So again, this 2284 is an average. But, so, you know, even if that was the case at 2,500 gallons per day, and he's putting, you know, he's has an allocated capacity of 1,500 gallons, that's still 1,000 gallons above what he's you know, paying for. And again, some of that could be, you know, people washing cars, so it's not really going into the collection system. You know, maybe watering grass, filling up some swimming pools. I don't know.
If my memory is correct, though, we have a number. Well, there's 6 additional EDUs is going to put additional taxing on that extension. I don't think we have enough. We don't have enough capacity left for 6 more now.
I think, well, I'll have to look, but I think we did.
I know it's going to be very.
It's
very close.
it's getting up there.
It's
Yes.
going to be very close.
Yeah. So.
Check on that, Randy, and
Yeah.
get back to us on that. I'm rather, go ahead.
Do you want me to find out why we can't get ratings again? Why don't you try one more
I'm gonna
time?
try one more time. I
Let
even
me
tried
know.
a couple times when I was coming up on my cell phone, and I'm getting into the system, but I'm not getting any data, you know, so.
Give me a call,
Yeah.
let me know, and then if you can't get it, I'll write him again, so we gotta get that solved somehow, we can't,
And coming up through, I noticed there's a tractor parked over in that area, I think where our valving is, if, you know, you wanted to shut them off, so it's probably under that, where you really couldn't get access to that, if you decide to say, you know, we're just gonna cut you off.
would
So,
we want more,
I didn't stop to actually try to locate it, but it looks, there's some vehicles parked in that area.
would we want more ratings and a little more evaluation time before the board would decide?
Yeah, I think, if we can get more readings, and
Okay.
I think if we can get some storm events,
Gotcha.
because that's even going to be better, where there's significant storm, and evaluate the impact if there is any infiltration, which we believe there is, but we just haven't had enough data. It's been such a dry summer, especially in the month of August, that we haven't have any, you know, we get an inch of rain or something,
It just runs off because of ground.
yeah.
Already 6 over.
A little too early to take a position. right?
Yeah, so I'm hoping we can get additional information, or we can get back into the system, and it was only a glitch again, but, you know, we've run into this before. And so, and I'm not doing anything different to log into the system. So we'll try to make, but as of the last time I looked at the data, you know, last week, that's where they came up with, there was no more additional information being reported. And then today, I was trying to get into it, and it wasn't connecting to their data. I got into their system, but the data just wasn't being downloaded. Maybe because there is none, I don't know.
Okay.
Can I add one thing to the Mike Ward property?
Add away.
Okay, I learned last Wednesday at the supervisors meeting that, you remember Joyce Hand that had the food truck
Yeah.
that wanted to be on Ward's property before? She is back, and that has been granted. So, something to keep in mind. However, they claim that she's not going to be using his sewer system. She's just going to be dumping into a holding tank. I'm not sure I understand why. But now there you're going to be showing additional water usage on his end as far as what he's metering coming out of the well.
Right.
So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I don't know that we're really wanting to, I mean, I just brought that up from the standpoint, he told me that
Right.
willingly, and I don't know that he knew what he was telling me, but if he's pumping that much, and probably, like I said, unless he's filling up pools, or watering lawns, or washing cars, or doing whatever, where you're not getting it into the collection system, you know, he's producing more water than what he's supposed to, you know, discharge. So there might be a little bit of a tendency to believe that, you know, there is more going into the collection system than really what he thought was going to go into.
When's that supposed to happen? They say. No, they didn't say.
No, just that the approval had been given for her to be there.
Is there some kind of an approval process for a holding tank?
No, this would probably be a holding tank on the cart.
On the, yeah, right on the trailer.
A friend of mine has an ice cream cart. Hall's Dairy, it takes them around to the fairs and those places, and their water just goes into a tank right there, and then, they get rid of it up at the dairy.
So this is just a portable unit, is that right?
Yeah,
This
like a
isn't
trailer.
something that would connect,
Right.
Yeah, here.
You did that, right?
And that was under permit report that she had gotten her approval, so I don't get up that way each day to see if she is actually there yet in operation, so,
I'm going down by there every day, Cece. I haven't seen it.
okay, all right, keep an eye out for it, please.
Well, what do they do with them? So there is some wastewater generated.
Mhm.
Where do they take it home and dump it in their system?
Put it out in the ground somewhere.
Pull the plug going up 11 or 15, I don't know.
Seen that already.
Me too.
Just
Yeah.
water. I pour it
Just
on my
good
plant.
So anyway, we'll check into the capacity of the collection pressure system, and then I'll check the Century Advisor tomorrow again, just to see, and then I'll call you, Dennis. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
And I'll contact Mike Hess about the authorities decide to abandon well number 1, and I got to contact, I guess, Control Systems 21.
All right. Thank you, Randy.
Yep.
Are we done?
I believe so.
Anybody, anything else for the engineer? All right. All right. You guys are up here.
As fast as I can go?
Absolutely.
Okay, just real quick. At the Cove Treatment Plant, we removed the blocked chlorine line, plastic line, replaced that. We temporarily replaced the chlorine solution pump with one of our spares. And that's the next item. We want to order a replacement for that, or we have initiated it. We assumed you would okay. If not, I guess we're buying one. There are a bunch of pumps there, but we're not sure they all work. We haven't found any that are reliable. We drained and cleaned both chlorine contact tanks at the Cove plant, and we have received a refrigerated flow proportional sampler that you okayed for the installation at Kincora. So now we have the housing, we have the sampler. All we have to do is get the line in and find out from the flow meter people what type of line. We've got a question into them, what type of line to run, what coax to get the signal from the flow meter to the sampler. We're working on that, should get that done soon. We did install that conduit and wiring at the old well housing and ran over to the new metering vault, and we installed the charger and the spare battery. And at Lower Duncannon, back on August 24th, I got a call from Ed Chisholm. Actually, I got a call, I mean to put it in that way, but the call was, and I think Sam was with him, got a call from about Cove pumping station, but it turned out not to be Cove, and I think the three of us couldn't figure out why. So I responded to that and found no problems, but I thought, while I'm up here, I went over to Lower Duncannon, and that's where the problem was. The power was off, the generator had run, and it had run out of fuel, so Sam helped me we got fuel there, and I returned the next day and primed the pump and got it going. Outstanding items, the sanitary line flushing in the collection system. I know Jim has been working with Sam and Klein's, and I think we're still going to do a little bit more work with Sam, if I'm not mistaken on that. We went around and inspected the 4 pumping stations and put together the proposal that I handed to Jim tonight for your review for next meeting. And I also spoke with Jody Hoffman about the pumps that have been taken out of a couple locations that he pulled out, and he said that the manufacturer recommends replacement. He had told me he was talking with Henry about that, so I'm leaving that in his hands to talk with Henry and get to you all. And I also reminded him he was going to price out that redundant alarm for the Cove pumping station, which he forgot, but he's assures me he's gonna get on that, because I really didn't want to see the elementary school get any more poo-poo in their floor. So with that, we're recommending that you take a chance to look at the proposal we put together for the stations for the next meeting, and that's all we have.
Great. Take a look at that. We got a JOAC meeting coming up. We'll just take a look at it. Maybe we can expedite that.
I'll tell you, if you have any questions, you know, give a yell.
Questions? Comments?
I have one thing, not necessarily on their report, but when they talked about Kincora, it triggered that. Last month, we talked about Kincora's usage. Do we know where that stands?
Wasn't Henry gonna start it?
Henny was supposed to talk
He
to
was
Mitch
talking to
Himmelberg.
Jim.
Do we know where any of that went?
I haven't heard anything. I don't know if he has talked to him or asked it or what.
You need to talk about the cell phone business.
Because there's some question there about how much they're using and what they should actually be billed for.
Maybe we can find out.
Okay. Sounds
I
good.
just-
Who's your service provider?
It's a glitch in it, I can't understand why.
Nice glasses, Sam.
Well, they're just new frames.
They're nice.
When you set on them, you gotta do something.
It's like a cell phone, when you put it through the washing machine.
Yeah.
So you gotta do it, and they're clean, but they don't work.
Okie dokie. We need you guys to stick around at all, anybody?
Don't give us the opportunity to run.
Hey,
Okay?
great,
Go for it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening,
Okay.
folks. Have a good evening.
You too.
Keep doing what you're doing, guys, you're doing fine.
We need Randy.
Huh?
We need Randy.
No, I just.
No, I figured
Ask
that.
him.
Don't let the door hit you in the button way out.
I kind of figured that was the sentiment. I wasn't gonna get, upset with that. Thanks.
Early
Thank
quit.
you.
Thanks,
We'll see
Randy.
it.
See ya.
Yep.
All right, DMR is a master meter report, it's in the folder somewhere.
Yep.
Field rep, the flushing and the grease trap inspections, there's nobody here.
I know nothing about those.
Okay, no report. Penn Township report, nobody's here from them. Cece, anything that you may have heard that?
Just about the Joyce Hand deal. I do have a couple questions written down here. Some are for Dennis when we get to his report.
Okay, now, Dennis, you are on.
All right, the items on the agenda there, the rights rules, I revised that proposed change to the rights rules and regs, and I think I circulated that some time ago.
You did.
That can either be acted upon or not as you wish, or revised more, or if you want to wait till you have a full board, do it at the JOAC meeting, whatever.
I don't have a problem doing it now, but I thought it was fine. Anybody have any glitches with that at all?
I thought it was fine.
I guess we need a motion to put that into play.
Yeah, to adopt it.
Make a motion that we adopt the tapping fee expiration information as revised by Dennis as of August 31st.
Second.
We have a second. Motion and a second. Any further comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So be it.
I guess.
Did you send a copy of that to Karen? Because I never saw it, so,
And you'll want to incorporate it into the race rules.
right, and she'll need to do that, so.
Okay.
Also, then, do we need to inform any of these customers? I don't,
Maybe that would be prudent.
Well, we were gonna wait and see, I think we were gonna wait and see what Sheets was gonna do. That was the part of the impetus for this.
They're ripping and tearing.
I understand, just tonight here, I see the car wash is down. It's been demoed. And I understand that that's where the new store is to go.
Oh, really?
Even though they just did a remodel on the store, they're gonna rebuild.
Well, good.
We're gonna tear the other one down? Good
Spend
God.
money to fix it up and then tear it down right away. Yes, actually, the quote says, yes, makes no sense to me, just spend $300,000 to tear it down in a few years.
Did they submit a plan for that? Because the plan, okay, doesn't
I don't
matter. Okay,
know.
I thought maybe you heard that.
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you want to, I mean, I'm not sure who to notify other than Sheets.
Well,
Maybe we can think about that, get a list together.
geez,
Yeah.
I have that
You
you had
have it,
asked me
okay.
to do. I mean, we have all these people, Big B Boats, Cove Center, Dollar General,
Do you, board have a preference about giving
Mutzies,
notification?
Tubbies, McGuire's. You know, I
What do we
mean,
think? What's the pleasure of the board? Should we notify them or just let it go?
I mean, if you don't notify them,
There'd be no recourse, maybe.
when does the 10 years start? Or whatever your
I
date.
think when the change occurs that that they're not using,
Yeah, I think that's how that was worded. And maybe enclose a copy of that, of the new revised.
I don't think it would hurt to give notice.
And just say this is for your information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll need more information on what it is you're doing
Yeah,
because.
I'll send the actual document over and we can talk about it.
Because you've got people like,
Well, there was a grandfathering for, I think, 2 EDUs, so that may eliminate some on your list.
okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, I do really remember you saying that.
Does the board, I mean, is it the wish of the board that notice go out in some fashion to the possible affected users?
I think it should.
I think it should, and
As
your
a
idea
courtesy.
about sending a copy of that.
Well, why don't we
Then
wait
they
till we
know.
get to this, on my report, and then you can tell me and I'll check off who gets it.
Okey dokey.
According to inside information, no car wash,
No car wash.
no new car wash.
But there may be a need for some of that capacity for the building
Within
expansion.
the new store, but I wouldn't think all of what they have, because they gobbled up a bunch.
No, they've got 163,000 gallons unused, which is two EDUs, 3 EDUs in the store that's available.
The Haldeman button, I thought at last meeting, we decided to go ahead and bill for,
We did.
okay.
We just
No, I
wanted to
haven't
bring
heard.
it to the board's attention that their button had not gone
Still
up, and
has
so I billed him for $120.
I still haven't heard anything either.
And we're going to put it on the agenda next month because,
Okay.
especially if he only pays 60 of the
Yes,
120.
then we have a problem. 1109 State Road, I'm not sure I understand. I thought that was sold a while ago. Well, I know it was, because I've spoken to the,
She's got, the last page here has
Yeah.
a thing in here.
lawyer.
It's
So I
about,
don't know what we would be going up for sale about in September. Auction.
This is the property, remember, where it needs abandoned, the septic
Yeah.
tank? Okay.
Yeah, it's now owned by the bank.
I will look, yeah, I'll look into that. I don't know what the auction would be, unless the bank is just having a public auction sale to get rid of it. But I had reached out to the lawyer that represented the bank about him getting me a contact person to deal with the abandonment of the septic system. And he has not yet gotten back to me with that, so I'll follow up with him.
And I did see an auction sign down there today.
Well, maybe the bank's just doing an auction.
We
The other auction
we
sale-
called Mr. Rice today because we didn't know what was going on, and we were trying to decide, what's happening with this. And so we just called him to see if they had moved out, if anybody was living there.
Yeah.
And he said, no, nobody was living there, but there's a sign up.
Well, they may just be doing an auction sale to get it sold. Yeah, the only other auction sale I could think of would be a tax sale. I can't imagine it would be up for a tax sale with the bank just having taken it over. They're gonna pay the
If it's tax sale, it would be published in the record and all that.
Yeah, they would, yeah, and I think those are,
They-
it might be one in September, but that might be the free and clear sale.
We brought this up because we were wondering if PNC, the new PNC is aware that they have to abandon
Yes,
the tank?
They are aware, I made
Okay.
their attorney aware,
All right.
but I'm gonna follow up on it. Down below, under old business, I could just cover under my report the Perry County Beer Connection. I did speak to Mr. Philip Pone, and I thought I had sent a memo, emailed a memo around, which apparently I did not do. But when I spoke to him, he understands he needs to get on this and get it done. He told me he's getting prices from people to do the installation. I will call him again and try to pin him down on an actual timeline, but I would certainly think it ought to be done before the end of the year, if easily. We have, that's plenty of time. One matter I'd like to talk about in executive session, since we're having one. Ward, I have a letter that went out to Ward reminding him, indicating we appreciate the payment that was made, but that reminding him there's still some funds that are still owed for the escrow and a few months on the tap fee installment payment, and asking him to give me a timetable for bringing those current, telling him we expect it to happen before the end of the year. McPherson, I'm having trouble getting a hold of the right person to get a handle on exactly what's going on with payment on that. And I know I learned at the last meeting somebody apparently is living in a camper behind there. So I'm continuing to try to get to somebody that can tell me something. Otherwise, I'll have a property that'll be coming up, one that I'm gonna be getting up here very soon for sheriff's sale, possibly another one if I can't get some cooperation on some payments. At the last meeting, I was asked whether I could find out if it's common for authorities to have a rate, for a different rate for residential and non-residential customers. I found that it is, I don't know say if it's common or typical, it's not uncommon, let's say it that way. There are certainly are many authorities who charge a higher rate for commercial or non-residential customers. Sometimes that's based on the size of the lateral, if that makes any sense. Would there typically be larger service lines for a non-resident, or for a commercial user?
Probably not in this system, I wouldn't think.
But some rate schedules that's how they govern the rate.
Wow, that's interesting.
But there certainly seems to be a justification for a rate differential, and it certainly is not uncommon to see it. So I know you were sort of in the tentative state of reviewing that, and I see no legal reason why you shouldn't continue to review it and assess it.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you have to do it, but
Yeah, okay.
It's an option.
it appears it's an option. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll report back to the board at the next meeting a little further on the delinquencies. I know we got some payments from the sheriff on the last batch of sales. I know it was 7,000 or 8,000. I don't know if it's reflected on the report.
This month, the month of August, we only got about 3,500. Well, about 3,500.
From the sheriff?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then there may be some additional funds that have come in after the cutoff, because I think Karen told me that she got 10 on the 3 that were sold at sale
Yes.
in late July.
It's like 1,000 something each.
Okay,
And today we got $400 for Daimler's water.
water,
Yeah.
just today.
Well, no, it would have been December 6th, or September 6th, so she deposited it yesterday.
Okay, I think Karen sent me an email about that. but
Yeah.
I'll make sure. All right, and then that matter I can talk about a little bit later.
Okay.
I think that's all I have noted here.
I have a question. On an upset sale, is it required that the liens be satisfied?
You're talking about a tax upset sale? Yes, well, no, hold on. I get confused with the regular sheriff sales. The tax upset sales I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check. I'm not sure. If it's not required that the liens be added to the tax obligation to create the upset price, then our lien would survive. We don't lose our lien, but I'm not sure if it's actually added to the tax bill, and that is the low bid, if you follow me. I'll find out.
Okay, please do, because I
Is there a tax sale
understand,
coming up?
yes, and I understand that with a tax upset sale, the only thing the county is looking for is their tax money. Any additional liens, whether it's ours, a bank, Joe's Garage, whoever, too bad, so sad, we're not collecting your money.
We need to go after ourselves.
Let me find out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Dennis. Anything else for Dennis? No, we'll move on to the treasurer orders report.
Okay, well, the delinquent accounts, I think, if somebody has any question on them. If not, the monthly invoices. Your data logger was $3,800, almost $3,900. That's being paid tonight.
Maybe.
If you sign it, is that it?
I'm looking to see if there's anything that I can see out of the ordinary. Somewhere on Jody's IJ Technical grinder pump things, there were only a few grinder pump ones there, but one of them he said something about the owner wasn't home and there was debris at the bottom and it should be pumped out. But I'm calling that to your attention when you see his bill. I'll make a note here to contact him to see if, you know, if we need to contact him that this was there, you know, maybe it was just stones that are coming in from someplace else. I need to find out what kind of debris. If it's debris from them, then we'll call them and tell them that that's their, break them and tell them that that's their first infraction. And
Okay.
Yeah, because his bill there is almost $3,800 also.
or was the authority taking the stance that all the things in the newsletter was the first announcement? That was the first notice. Isn't that what we did for Mrs. Martinez?
Yes, yes, it was, yes. That
Although,
served as everyone's first notice.
although he said he had called her, so I guess it would be nice to at least give him a notice first. Okay. I'll find out what kind of debris it was.
Well, I'll make a motion that the orders be drawn, the bills be paid.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Paid the bills.
Okay, financial report. Well, you have almost $200,000. You've paid $31,000 just to satisfy DEP this year.
Yes, it is.
That's on the back page down the bottom right.
Board still owes us almost $1,700 for that stuff.
Yes.
That was part of my letter.
Part of your letter?
Oh, I'll make a motion that we accept the financial report for August, subject to audit.
Have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, the next thing on mine is I did a 2016 budget update for you. Right now, your expenses are only $3,700 over your income.
How much?
3,700. That's not bad. No. I thought that was pretty good news.
Yeah.
You've had 500,000 coming in and 503 going out, so. I mean, 503 going out's bad. The other thing that's not on the agenda that I gave you but was requested last month was this audit of the previous 4 quarters for your metered sewer customers. It gives a list of all your non-commercial, non-residential commercial customers, how many EDUs they purchased, how many gallons I gave them, how much they used in the past 4 quarters, and the difference. Sheets ended up with, the car wash ended up with almost an EDU. They use an EDU more than they have purchased. McGuire's Prep, which is the new building now,
Yeah.
they had some fairly high readings because we base it on the water reading, and we did some adjusting, if I remember, when they first opened up, but they were probably spraying down things and doing whatever, so I don't know how good of a indicator that is of what actually went down into the system. Well, of what it went into the system, I don't know. And Members First just had a significant leak a few months ago.
Got a what?
A leak.
Oh.
So.
McGuire's Prep, they have a car wash in.
Yes, they do have a car wash for them at the new, yes, that
Yes,
they
they
use.
do.
And
I
so
got a
they'll
free
be,
car wash.
yes, when you get work done, they give you a free car
That's
wash
right.
if they have time.
There you go.
It ain't free.
That's right, you pay dearly.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the list of the people who have purchased EDUs. And so the question here would be, which of those? Obviously, we get rid of everybody with 1 and 2 EDUs. So who do we send the list, who do we send a letter to? If you look at Cove Center, you know, I mean, he's not using it, but then if he gets built up,
Which may be his intention
you know,
with that.
I mean, I know he has trouble keeping things, but if he got 8 of them in there filled, he'd use that capacity.
Question there, a little bit off topic, but seeing that with Sitco, do they still pay a reservation of capacity?
No, he pays $60 every month.
Does he really, for both properties? For
He-
Dino's and Sitco?
Dino's is not Dino's is not connected. He just paid the tapping fee.
It was never connected?
No, never had to be. There was a fire then, the fire came and,
No, there, what well there?
Hmm?
Isn't there a wet well down there?
Mhm.
but it was never connected to the property, so I think the wet well was probably pulled.
The pump.
Well, the pump was pulled.
Yeah.
Pump was pulled, there's a wet well there.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, well, yeah, because when they went through, they did it, but it was never connected to the property because the property had burned and,
Okay, why would he, Sitco was not operational then either.
I know.
Well, Sitco is on the old system too.
For whatever reason, he has chosen every month to pay the $60 rather than to have Ed and Sam pull that pump many, many, many years ago and get
I'm
out from under
grateful
that.
he does, I'm
Yeah.
not complaining that he does. Just- Okay,
Is that the same guy on both places?
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Okay.
if you're
Well, I
gonna-
can see Ford pre-owned there.
Who's saying?
An empty
Ford
lot.
pre-owned that empty lot.
Oh.
Mhm.
But that's only one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure who owns that. I did know it, I
Mine.
don't recognize the name.
Oh, it's a guy out of Dobrinov, D-O-B-R-I-N-O-V.
Yeah.
It looks like we got about 9.
What's this Dollar General here? I thought they were owned by somebody else, that building. Dollar
Well-
General's just renting that.
Yeah, that's
I know,
the
but that's
Coco
how I
development.
referred, that
I
just is,
understand that, but I think, is there 2 there?
there is an extra building, the extra space
Yeah,
up.
but he only bought 1 EDU is what you're saying.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
So it'd be 9 facilities to send a letter to. Am I correct or am I not?
Okay, so tell me your 9.
9, I got Cove Center, 8, Ward Bus, 13, Sheet 17. Well, the Sheet's car wash now, that's, yeah. Matzo Balls, Tubby's, VFW, Morrison, and Mr. Ward.
I think I got them all.
Okay,
Do we want to send the one to Ward, do we want to hold off with that one till we see where we are with usage? Because if he has purchased 10, but we're finding out that he's actually using like 15.
Good point. Why don't we wait on that letter until Dennis gets,
and the same way with Morrison, he's already on a time schedule.
He is. yeah.
Mr.
Yeah, that's
Morrison
true.
has, his are gonna expire June the 3rd of 24.
so you want to back off on him too?
Yeah, because he's,
He
yeah,
knows that.
All right. Now we got 7.
all right. After I see what the proposed language is, I'll draft a letter and then I'm gonna run it by you guys. Okay?
Okay.
Do you think it would be worth, like, A+ Sunoco? It looks like they could get away with just 1. I don't know what they would have as far as expansion, that they would need that additional.
Which one?
A+ Sunoco.
Yeah.
it may not hurt just to send a letter. They may be thinking, oh, we have to have 2 for whatever reason. And as a company, I mean, maybe they're thinking, hey, if we can cut costs somewhere, you know, rather than paying double what we need to, and we can,
Well, it's not that they're paying double. That was paid for way back in 1992.
yeah, when they first put it in. But I
So
mean, if
what that
they
would
can-
mean is that they would get money
Recoup,
back. We would
right.
pay them.
Right, if they could recoup some of that they have actually
Yes.
paid double of what they needed to.
We had sent letters to the Perdix people, but we did not send to the Duncannon people because, you know, they were concerned about capacity down there.
I mean, just looking at their usage numbers, it looks like they could probably get away with 1 instead of 2. I mean, it's close, but,
Yeah.
and they may turn around and say, no, we paid for 2, we'll keep 2.
That was because he had some kind of service center in there, I think, when he opened that place up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's right.
So
Okay,
it may not hurt to give them the option. If they say no, they say no.
that's true. Good point.
They may think that once they bought it, they're stuck with it, you know. Can we sell ours back?
Okay. Thank you.
Is that what you asked?
Hmm?
Yeah. If you're not gonna use it,
Anything else, Susan?
No.
Thank
that's
you.
only one.
Yeah.
But you got somebody.
Executive Secretary's report, I think we already covered that.
That's right.
Right, and Cece's going to get in contact with Karen for the meter readings.
And JOAC is Monday here.
I won't be there, by the way.
Well, golly.
Yeah.
Okay. Correspondence, periodicals, yeah, we've been through old business. New business. Anything new for the order?
Motion to adjourn.
Well, we got an executive session here.
Well, are you going to be taking,
Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
Second.
okay.
Second.
You won't have any action on live.
Okay, we got a motion to adjourn and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I don't think there's anybody that's going to oppose that.
The minutes should reflect the board.
right, like I've done in the past, no decisions will be made.
Boy, that
Yeah.
might be a record, Jim.
Jim, that's what I was just gonna say,
Wow.
it's gotta be a record.
One after
I would suggest at the beginning, up here you have your explanation. Your explanation you had at the beginning, you had a rough day, you want to get it.
And that's very.
Run that across the top of the paper.
Thanks, Bob.